up in the sky. Look, it's captivating. It's energizing. It's Eliances Heroes. Eliances is the destination for entrepreneurs, investors, CEOs, inventors, leaders, celebrities, and startups, where our heroes in business align. Now, here's your host flying in, David Kogan, founder of Eliances.
That's me. It's another day, and we've got incredible guests to be able to interview today, where we really share about their secrets to success, what makes them tick, how did they get to where they got to. I've got the best job ever in the world because I have the opportunity to ask the questions that you want to know about them, how you can improve your life. And I really, again, appreciate the feedback we continue to get from past guests. Most recently, when we had, and I interviewed the co-founder of Netflix. So please make sure that you go to Eliances, Eliances.com, because as you know, it is the only place where entrepreneurs align. Well, you know, people invest a lot of money in something, and you know what that is? Their hair. I just wish I had some more of it, but they invest a lot of money in their hair.
That's right.
And our next hero knows about that. In fact, I'd like to welcome you all to the show is Jim Markham. He founded 4 and developed not 1, not 2, 5. Are you ready for this? 5 successful hair care companies. We're talking over $1.2 billion in combined retail sales. You'll know some of the brands offhand, like ABBA, Pureology, and others. And you can reach him by going to Facebook or Instagram or Amazon, because we're going to talk a little bit about his book today too, is Big Lucky. And that's where you can get his book at Amazon. But if you want to find him on the channels like Facebook or Instagram, you can go to @BigLuckyBook. And of course, we'll have it on our website at Eliances.com. So Jim, boy, do people spend money on hair or what?
They really do. It's gotten even bigger every year. I think, you know, it's huge. It's really a huge business.
Now you started and, you know, founded, you know, not 1, but 4 of these companies and stuff. Talk to us about really what it was like from forming the first one to the second to the third. Does it get any easier starting it? And why not have just done 1 and combine everything into one company?
You know, I started as a barber. I grew up with a poor mother that was an alcoholic, and at 15 I was married and had a child. My mother said, "You got to go to work somewhere." She said, "Why don't you go to barber school? Uncle Clarence always did well as a barber." I said, "Okay." So I went to barber school and started cutting hair. At 16, I was cutting hair, $1.50 haircuts, and did pretty well. I was a little young. A lot of people didn't want me to cut their hair, but I did well and started entering competitions and winning a lot of awards, national championship, etc. Then I met a guy named Jay Sebring, who was then charging $50 a haircut. I've won all these awards and I'm charging $5. So I called him up and said, "Jay, I need to learn how to charge $50 a haircut like you did." So make a long story short, I flew to California. We cut some hair. He cut one half the hair. I cut the other half the hair. And it was clearly that his side was better than mine. So I saw he had something to teach me, and I was really excited. Then I started a franchise in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Sebring franchise. And I became a distributor for 4 states with Sebring and did really well. Jay, on the other hand, got killed by Charles Manson in the Manson murders with Sharon Tate in '69. That's when I went from New Mexico to California and took over his business. A few months later, I bought the business, and I had that company for a while, and started another company called Markham Products. We had a 3-way dispute. It was Sebring, and started Markham Products, and that did well. It did better than Sebring, and I kept it about 8 years, and I sold it and started another company called ABBA, Pure and Natural. I kept it about 8 years and sold it, and then I started a company called Pureology. And Pureology was really the rocket ship. I mean, it was like the 3rd largest selling sale of all time at that time, which was 280 million. Then lastly, I did Colorproof, and it did very well. And recently, last year, I sold Colorproof, and and I'm in Hawaii and not doing a lot. I'm working on my book, and there's a lot of changes going on. So that's kind of what I've been doing.
Jim, why not just start another one? You're on a roll. Keep it
You know,
going.
I keep thinking that, you know, my wife has a heart attack when I say that, but she doesn't.
And you're in Hawaii, right?
Yeah, we're in Kona, Hawaii.
Wow. So from each of the companies that you started, I assume that you carried something that you learned from the first company to the second company and so on.
Oh yeah, every time you learn something, something to do, something not to do, and
What were some of the secrets that you shared that you carried over from company to company?
one of the things is, you know, companies, labs, when you farm out ingredient, farm out formulas, they keep the formula, and you don't get access to it. So I learned from the first company, you got to own your own formula. So I started negotiating that whenever I developed a formula with them, it immediately became mine, and they sent me the formula. So I did that for four more times successfully. So I always had the formula, had the intellectual property to sell, and it built a lot of worth value. So that was one. Getting the proper distribution, that's two. Uh, Getting the proper image. You know, you learn just a little bit on every one of them, and every one you do is different than the last quite a bit, but there's some basic things you got to keep doing, and those are some of them.
So from 15 years of age and having a child and cutting hair to selling your first company, what's that feeling like?
Really good, actually. You know, there's several kinds of entrepreneurs. There's like a sprinter, which is somebody that grows a company up, does everything, gets it all right, and then sells it. I'm kind of in that genre. Then there's the long distance sprinter, which is the ones that manage a company long term, and that's what they do, and that's what they like. I fall in the sprinter category because I love doing it, love starting it, love developing formulas, love distribution channel. I love doing all that. I love developing sales for it. And then I'm just not as interested anymore. It's kind of crazy, I know, but it's kind of the way it is.
But you stayed within the same industry.
I love the industry. The professional beauty industry is so good. And there's you know, I got into developing formulas. I mean, when I early on, I started cutting celebrities' hair and doing formulas for them, and they really demand the best. They truly do. But was a really godsend for me because I became very good at developing the best formulas in the world. And I kept doing that. Each company was better than the last. And I developed the right vendors, the right people, and I had a network of people that I used. And you just keep doing it over and over. But it's different every time. You got to get a new set of distributors. You got to get a new positioning statement. Your product got to have a different positioning, and you keep doing pretty much the same thing every time. But it's different. It really is different.
Yes. Paul Newman, Steve McQueen, Johnny Carson, and others. What do they all have in common with you?
I think there's something that I've noticed in them that they believe they were born to win. They believe they're gonna do it, and I think it's a really important part of anyone is to know that God made you to win. And if you believe you're going to win, you keep getting back up because you will get knocked down. It's just up and down. But a lot of people don't get back up. So what they have is that they believe they're going to win, and they keep getting back up, especially the ones I did. And I did about 50, a little over 50 of them. But I noticed that in all of them. They're really confident.
Yeah, I mean, they were all clients of yours. I mean, which is just absolutely phenomenal. So now you decided to write your book. It's called Big Lucky, and again, you can get it at Amazon. Go to Amazon, type in Big Lucky, you'll find it, purchase it. What is this your first book?
This is my first book. You know, I had friends and family members and distributors that always said, "Look, we know where you're from. How did you get to where you are now? How did you make that big jump from having really nothing and charging $1.50 haircuts to becoming in a good spot?" And I said, "Well, that's an interesting point." For years, I said, "I just don't have the right ending." So I waited until I did the last company and I had a good ending, and everything went good. And I said, maybe it's time to do it now. And I think to try to share my ups and downs, don't quit, you're born to win, and some things that I learned was be very beneficial for other entrepreneurs. So it's really to help other people become more successful by providing them a roadmap of up and down experiences that they can benefit from.
Excellent. Well, you're all benefiting from watching, listening to me interviewing Jim Markham. I'm David Kogan with the Eliances Hero Show. He founded not one, but four and developed 5 successful hair care companies, over $1.2 billion in combined retail stores, Pureology, ABBA, and others. Make sure that you go ahead and get his book on Amazon. Type in Big Lucky because you're watching me again, David Kogan, host of the Eliances Hero Show. So make sure you go to Eliances.com, Eliances.com, the only place where entrepreneurs align. Now, Jim, I think it's important to note that you've also been involved with a number of charitable organizations. Why and which ones, and what led you to those?
Well, I believe success means you need to pay it forward. If you don't pay it forward, then, what is success? We were honorees at City of Hope. We've raised a lot of money for City of Hope. Paul Newman has a charity called Serious Fund. We've been giving to Serious Fund a long time, 15 years maybe. And we do cancer events. I can't remember all of them right now, but we've been there's homeless people in LA that we've been giving money to and food and products to for years. And it's such a worthy cause, I think. So we've always been involved, and we're still involved, and we'll stay involved because we think it's the thing to do. You got to pay it forward.
Excellent. You talked about the different formulas for the various brands and that. What are people looking for most within a shampoo? Is it having, shiny hair, growing hair, and what's considered healthy hair? I mean, you go to the store, there's a gazillion ones to choose from. How does anyone even know what to choose?
It's difficult. Everyone has really a different issue. You've got women. We started out doing men's hair, Paul Newman, Johnny Carson, Robert Redford, Frank Sinatra, and we developed a product for daily shampooing and conditioning for them. That really revolutionized men's hairstyle. For women, one might have thin hair, one might have medium hair, one might have curly hair, straight hair, very little hair, and so you really need formulas for that specific customer. That's why professional hairstylists should be able to give you a product just for you. Like if you come in and you're a customer and you have fine hair, you need a volumizing product. If you come in and your hair is dry, you need a moisturizing product. And women know this. Women, ask a woman, say, what do you buy? Moisturizing or volumizing? She, without doubt, will tell you one or the other. And the other she won't have. Like if she even just last night, we were out to dinner, and I said, well, what product do you use? She told me she uses my product. I said, well, do you like the volume or moisture? She says, oh, no volume. They're so against it. So they want moisturize. Then you might ask somebody else and they won't buy. So you have to diagnose their situation and ask the customer what they want. If they want more volume, you use volume. If they want more curl, we have one for curly hair. You want smoother, straighter hair, we have another one for that. So you got yellow in your hair, we take the yellow out. We know how to do that, and that's a professional recommendation. Generally, it would be a lot better than going to a pharmacy or drugstore and just looking at that blitz of products and try to figure out one on your own, because it's probably not going to happen.
Right. You mentioned that you had a child when you were 15 years old. So you're only 15 years older than your child now. What kind of secrets do you share with him or her? Is it a son or daughter?
It's a her. It's a daughter.
What kind of secrets do you share in regards to helping to pass down the wisdom that you have of ensuring that they're successful, making a mark in history like you have?
We've talked about it a lot in their inheritance and how they should do it, and we have meetings every year, and we hopefully are making a difference. It's tough, though. It really is tough because everybody's got their own point of view. And but we've shared that with all our three children, and even grandchildren, about paying it forward and doing the right thing. And we think that's very important to do.
Do you ever just look back and just go from the days of when you were cutting hair at 15 years old to where you are now?
Oh yeah, I keep going back all the time. It seems like, like I don't cut much hair now. I'll cut maybe 2 haircuts a month, friend. And I like to cut hair. I don't want to cut more than 2 or 3. I don't want to do 10 a day, but I like it a lot. I mean, it was a good profession. It got me where I needed to go. And I know a lot of hairstylists, and they do well. It's a pretty good profession. It really is.
With the challenges, though, of starting any business, and there are a lot of mistakes along the way and times that people do want to quit, what goes through your mind? Because I imagine that there were many multiple times of, enough is enough. How do you get through that, though? What is
Well,
it? What's going through? What gets you through it?
that's one of my lessons that we go through lessons and payoffs at the end of each chapter. And you just got to get back up, and you have to believe that you were made to win. God made you to win. And you, as Thomas Edison once said, you got to just get up and try one more time. You got to keep trying. You got to believe you're made to win, but you also got to work like hell, because it's not just going to happen. You got to believe you can win and go for it. Because I believe we all have the acumen and the ability to win. And I think that's an important thing to understand. And just go forward. Just barrel through it. That's all you can do, and you will win.
Excellent. Well, definitely during this interview, you will win, because we've got Jim here today. And Jim, you have persevered. You've made your own luck, created brands and consumers that they love and trust. That's a hero, Jim Markham, netting over 1.2 billion in combined retail sales. Make sure you get his book. Go to Amazon, Big Lucky. And if you want to find him on Facebook or Instagram, at Big Lucky Book. This has been David Kogan with the Eliances Hero Show. Make sure you check out Eliances.com.